etkinlik kapsamında. Dolayısıyla burada bütün hedef özellikle ilköğretim öğrencilerine bu bilinci vermek, ambalaj atıkların ayrı, kaynağında ayrı biriktirilmesi ve bunların geri kazanılmasının önemini anlatmak. Son olarak bunun tabii ülkeye bu yapılan çalışmaların hem çevresel hem ekonomik yararı var. Bu yarar şuradan kaynaklanıyor. Siz bir orijinal ham maddeyle bir ürünü üretseniz, burada tabii kullandığınız enerji, su, plastik olduğunu düşündüğümüzde petrol gibi ham madde ve enerji harcıyorsunuz. Ama bunların yerine atıkları kullanırsanız, bir miktar tabii hepsini atıklardan yapmak mümkün değil bugün, ama atıkların da işin içine girerek üretimin yapılması durumunda bu bize enerji, su tasarrufu, benzine çevirebiliriz, tasarrufu sağlıyor. Onun ötesinde de bu sera gazı salımlarının azaltılması konusunda da yardımcı oluyor. Geçtiğimiz yıl 331.700 ton dioksit eşdeğerinde sera gazı salımı engellenmiş oldu. Bu 637.000 ton ambalaj atığının toplanıp geri kazanılması sayesinde. Bütün bunları topladığımız zaman maddi olarak ülke ekonomisine katkısını biz 2,1 milyar lira olarak hesapladık. Bu sadece 2016 yılı. Bu çalışmalar her yıl yapıldıkça bunlar artarak gelişiyor. Dolayısıyla hem ekonomiye katkı hem iklim değişikliğinin önlenmesiyle mücadelede bir çaba, hem de tabii toplumsal yanı var bunun. Bilinçlenme, insanların yaşayışlarının değişmesi, iş imkanları yaratıyor bu alanda çalışan şirketler için. Dolayısıyla bu üç şeyi sağladığını düşünüyoruz. Sürdürülebilirliğin üç koşulunu: çevre, sosyal gelişim ve ekonomik kalkınma. Evet, beni dinlediğiniz için çok teşekkür ediyorum. Özetlemeye çalıştım çalışmalarımızı.
Teşekkürler Mete Bey. Aslında siz son çok vurucu tabii. Sürdürülebilir kalkınmanın ekonomik, sosyal ve çevresel boyutunun bir ambalaj atığı örneğinde olduğunu Türkiye özelinde görmüş olduk. Burada alt çizilmesi gereken noktalardan bir tanesi de şu: üreticinin bunu bir sorumluluk olarak kendinde görerek, ne kadar da mevzuat olsa da üreticinin bu sorumluluğu görerek burada bir bedel ödeme karşılığında ambalajın geri kazanılması bize tabii şunu da gösteriyor. Demek ki atık değil. Yani tekrar ekonomiye kazandırıldığı zaman değerli bir malzeme hem çevre için zarar oluşturmasının önüne geçilmiş oluyor, hem de istihdam boyutuyla 2,1 milyarlık bir değerin kazanılması, aslında bu 2,1 milyarın çöpe gitmesinin engellenmesi de diyebiliriz burada. Ve Türkiye'deki bir sivil toplum kuruluşu diyebileceğimiz bir vakfın başarılı bir örneğini görmüş olduk. Şimdi bir başka örnek de Arnavutluk'da Francesca Corenche ile dile getirilecek. 15 dakikalık bir sunumunda pasif bir sivil toplumun arkasındaki psikoloji. Belki birazcık da hem tüketici hem bireysel çevre korumacılığından toplumsal çevre korumacılığına bu işlerin nasıl oluştuğuna anlatılmaya çalışılacak. Kendisini dinliyoruz.
Sorry, someone should put the presentation. Hello everyone, I'm Francesca. It's a pleasure to be here and to be talking about this topic. Build Green Group is new as an NGO. It's been running for like 3 years. It was extended from another NGO, and actually these 3 years were very intensive for us. In 3 years we have seen much things that was problematic for us at the beginning, but not only in the beginning, they continue to be a problem even after that. We will not see this from the industrial point of view, but in a more basic point of view, individual level and also community level. Just a minute for my presentation. the USB? It's not this.
PowerPoint yok mu?
It's not this one. Here. Just this. We are all tired, but just the 15 minutes more. The topic I want to talk today is about psychology of passive civil societies. At first, let's take a look of Build Green Group and its work. Build Green Group, it was first started as an organization in 2004, as I told you. It's a non-profit organization which works on projects in environment. The main fields in which we operate are environment, youth, research, and education. Build Green Group produces various platforms for environmental issues and youth activism in voluntary projects to improve the environment in Albania. It has been engaged in various projects and providing viable ideas to provide the environment and adding knowledge about it through youth activation, and it's constantly activated in creating methodologies and different policies for youth involvement. We exchange not only ideas, but also culture, taking the best of everyone who is willing to contribute to new and innovative ideas. So mainly we are environmental education platform, an NGO focusing on research and innovation in environment, an NGO that brings together citizens, activists, youth and government bodies. And also an organization that focuses in delivering environmental projects, alternating both theory and practice to project design.
Şimdi ikinci konumuza geçeceğiz. Somali'den Omar Jama Beyefendi'nin Somali'de kuraklık ve kıtlık kaynakları sunumu olacak.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I'm happy to be here for just presenting this presentation in this evening. My name is Omar Jama. I'm from an organization called Zamzam Foundation. It's a humanitarian organization and development working in Somalia. Over the last 25 years, we have been working in Somalia, and we are one of the largest development and humanitarian organization in Somalia. And we do different activities in Somalia, and we help the poor people. What I'm gonna be talking about this in this during my presentation is what you have been just hearing a lot of time. I came from a country called Somalia, located in Horn Africa. We have been, this country have got independence in 1960. Unfortunately, this country is a very poor country with a population of 12.3 million. Whenever you hear the name of Somalia, unfortunately you just see you link or just your something comes to your mind. That's I was call it famine, conflict, war, and virus, something like that. So that's the what happened in Somalia. We have been in crisis, in conflicts, in disaster over the last 25 to 7 years. So there is a number of famine happened in Somalia. A lot of people died. What I'm going to talk about this tonight is what's the causes of this famine, this drought, why the people dying for hunger in Somalia. before I talk about these causes, I will talk about briefly the history of famine in Somalia, or famine in Somalia, the history. You know, in Somalia, since 1991, when the central government Somalia happened, there was a number of famine and drought happened in Somalia. In 1992, a large famine happened in Somalia that claimed the life of around 300,000 people. You cannot imagine 300,000 people died because of hunger, died because of conflict. That happened in 1992 when an international intervention came to Somalia to save the lives of people of Somalia. Also, from that time,
Muslim identity to further enrich and strengthen Australia's multiculturalism, build strong community resilience and greater self-reliance, and empower our community with a focus on youth and women, to build diverse leadership capacity and future succession planning. In conclusion, I believe that the success of multiculturalism and social cohesion is attributed to contribution and role, where every citizen and community must be afforded the opportunity to contribute to society, and everybody has a role to play. And I think Shakespeare summed it up pretty well, where he says that the world's a stage and everybody's got a role to play. That is essentially the ingredients of success of a cohesive society where everybody has a role to play and everybody is encouraged to have a role to play. My final message is that the peak bodies like peak Muslim bodies like the ICV needs to play in society to achieve and lead on social cohesion is ever more important. Muslims are enjoined to strive for harmonious living, celebrate our diversity, and to build the bonds of humanity. The virtue of respecting people of all faiths and civilizations is a cornerstone of Islam. We as Muslims understand that diversity is God's divine plan, a plan that must be embraced and harnessed for the good of humanity. I'll skip that slide in the interest of time, and I leave you with the hadith.
Üst seviye, daha düzenli bir şekilde çıkarabilmeleri konusunda da önemli bir örnek. Tabii çok kapsamlı bir çalışma olduğu anlaşılıyor. Evet, şimdi son konuşmacımız Sırbistan'dan katılıyor. Biljana Jović, göçmen çalışmaları merkezinden geliyorlar. Sırbistan'da kültürel bir arada yaşamanın teşviki konusunda modern haberleşme araçlarının rolü, etkisiyle ilgili bir sunum yapacaklar.
Thank you, Dr. Oktay. I would like to be a bit formal at the beginning of my intervention. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, dear friends, it is a great honor to be able to address you here tonight, and I also want to take advantage to express my gratitude and admiration to the organizing committee for, you know, putting at stage such a great event. I would also like to thank everybody, given the late hour of a very long day, for their stamina and patience, and for coming here to listen what we have to say about the coexistence. As Dr. Oktay said, I come from Serbia and I represent Center for Migration Studies. I'm the chairperson and the co-founder of this organization. It was created in 2005, and since that time we have created a number of Serbian and regional projects, non-profit projects. You can see our strategic goals. We would like to contribute to full achievement of core democratic and human values, but we have put a lot of emphasis on conflict prevention and minority rights lately. To this end, we will just give you a brief overview of some of our flagship projects. This is the most recent project that we are implementing at the moment, that you are going to hear more about tonight. But we have actually, in addition to these minority policy projects and minority rights projects that we have in Serbia, we were very active in Kosovo right after the conflict, and you can see many of the projects that we implemented in Kosovo that they actually focus on different ethnic communities. Definitely in the post-conflict societies there are 4 pillars of for that society: economic sustainability, and adequate and accurate information. I will not elaborate further the importance of these individual aspects of stability of any society.
Tüm sunularından dolayı teşekkür ediyorum. Eğer eksik olarak özetlediysem kusura bakmayınız. Eminim dinleyicilerimiz çok daha iyi dinlemişlerdir. Ve size bu manada sorular soracaklardır. Bu sorulardan önce belki soru bize de gelir. Marmara Üniversitesi Sivil Toplum Araştırmaları Merkezi Müdürü olarak görev yapıyorum. Aynı zamanda Siyasal Bilgiler Fakültesi Yönetim Bilimleri Anabilim Dalı'nda Yönetişim ve Sivil Toplum Kuruluşları adlı bir yüksek lisans programımız var. Onun da moderatörlüğünü yapıyoruz. Yeni başladık. Üniversite olarak Türkiye'de sivil toplum kuruluşlarının özellikle kamu kurumlarıyla olan işbirliğinin çok zayıf olduğunu gördük. Çok başarılı sivil toplum örgütlerimiz var. Sadece Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nin bu konudaki deneyimine bakmamak lazım. Bence yanıltıcı olur. Bir önceki devletimiz olan Osmanlı Devleti'nin yapısına baktığımızda Osmanlı Devleti'nin tamamen bir sivil toplum örgütlerinden oluşan, sivil medeniyetinden oluşan bir devlet olduğunu görüyoruz. Haliyle sıkıntılar olduğunu biz gördük. Üniversite olarak da ciddi bir sosyal sorumluluk proje çerçevesinde bu bölümleri açtık. Ciddi bir şekliyle eğiliyoruz. Amacımız sadece STK'ları bu manada geliştirmek ve sivil toplum örgütlerini yönetmek değil. Önemli amaçlarımızdan birisi de akademisyenleri bu alana çekmek, akademisyenlerin bu alanda makaleler yapmasını, işte yüksek lisans ve doktora tezleri yapması gibi amacımız var. İlginizi, alakanızı bekliyoruz efendim. Evet. Şimdi bu sizlerden soruları almak istiyoruz. Soru metodumuzda soruları birkaç tane soruyu alalım. Ondan sonra da topluca cevaplandırmaya çalışalım. Zamanı böylece daha etkin değerlendirmiş oluruz. 25 dakikamız var efendim. Buyurun. Önce genel olarak bir soru soralım. 1, 2, daha gelecektir. Öncelikle bu hanımefendiye bir söz verelim. Buyurun. Merhaba. Evet. Öyle mi? Mikrofon mu? Mikrofon var mı arkadaşlar? Teknik ekip. Ha, duyuluyor sesiniz. Çeviri yapılıyorsa sıkıntı yok. Çeviri yapılıyor mu şu anda? Siz buyurun konuşun. Çeviri olmuyormuş. Evet, olabilir. Pardon, özür diliyorum. Burada gelip konuşabilirsiniz. Buyurun.
Ben Nurhan Kesen, Marmara Üniversitesi Yüksek Lisans'ta Yönetişim ve Sivil Toplum Kuruluşları öğrencisiyim. İlk sorumu Zafer Bey'e sordum. teknolojide İngilizce gerekliliğini ve İngilizce gerekliliğinin maalesef Türkiye'de yeterli bir altyapısı olmadığını, bunun bize artı ve eksilerini, özellikle geleceğin sivil toplum kuruluşları yöneticileri, adayları olarak artı ve eksilerini sormak istiyorum. Fatma Hocam'ın sunumunda önceliği güvenilirlik koydu ve sabahki oturumlardan birinde yine bu konu konuşuldu. Kamuyla sivil toplum birlikte çalıştığı zaman kamuyla çalışan STK'nın projelerindeki güvenirlik ve olayının ne kadar hani sağlam ve bizlerin algısına kadar yerinde olacağını sormak istiyorum. Mr. Andrei'ye şöyle bir sorum var. Hani Rusya'yı sivil toplum alanında çok fazla dünya uluslararası arenada görmüyoruz. Rus halkının sivil topluma bakışı, sivil toplum hareketlerindeki aktivitesini sormak istiyorum. Ve Mr. Tedyan'a da şöyle bir şey sormak istiyorum. Bizler yarınki sivil toplum kuruluşları yöneticileri veya bu alanda çalışmak isteyen aktivistler olarak aklımıza hep Avrupa ve Amerika geliyor. Afrika'yı tercih etmemiz için kurumunuz nasıl çalışmalar yapıyor mu? Bu alanda bizlere sağlama neler sağlayacaklar? Bunları sormak istiyorum. Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ediyoruz. Hanımefendi olması dolayısıyla ilk soruyu soran olması dolayısıyla müsamaha gösterdik ama duruma göre sıkıntı olursa sadece bir sorunuzu ilk sorunuzu alacağız. Çok soru olursa. Teşekkür ediyoruz yine de. Evet efendim, başka sorular? Rica etsek buraya gelebilir misiniz? Türkçe'de yani insanlar istifade etsin belki. Buyurun, çeviri yapıyor Türkçe içinde.
Yabancılar için de Türkçe'ye çeviriyor.
Evet, yabancı içinde de Türkçe.
Benim sorum Mr. Tedayna. Ben birçok Afrika ülkesine gitmiştim ve orada gerçekten çok zengin bir ülke, bir kıta olduğunu anladım. Hem insan kaynakları konusunda hem de zengin materyaller konusunda. Şimdi genel bir algı var Afrika kıtasıyla ilgili. Yani oradaki halk biraz tembel. Şöyle genel bir algı. O kadar kaynak olduğuna göre halk Afrika'nın daha çok gelişmesi gerektiğini kanaatindeyim. Peki bir de şu kaynaklardan daha çok dış ülkeler faydalanıyor. Yani neden Afrika halkı mevcut kaynaklardan faydalanmıyor?
İsterseniz başka sorumuz belki ikinci turda olacaktır. O zaman hızlıca şey yapalım. Cevaplandıralım. Buyurun. Yani ilk soran arkadaşımız sorusuna başlayalım. Buyurun.
Şöyle söyleyeyim. Bu programın evet kurulma aşamasında İngilizce ihtiyaç var. Ama son kullanıcı noktasında onu Türkçe'ye çevirebiliyoruz. Maalesef hiçbir artı değeri yok yani İngilizce bilmememizin. Negatif yönleri var. Bir de şöyle bir şey. Bu teknik anlamdaki olan alanlar ayrı bir İngilizce. Yani normal gündelik bir İngilizceyi maalesef çok benzemiyor. İster istemez orada teknik konular var. Onlara değiniyorlar. Bir de yani baktığınız zaman şu var. Teknolojiyi üreten bir ülke olamadığımız için maalesef söz sahibi olamıyoruz. Onlar neyi sunarsa biz onu alıp kullanıyoruz. Yani inşallah ülke olarak üreten tarafta oluruz da bizim dilimiz ön planda olur. Teşekkür ederim.
Ben iyi yönetişimi kurumlara duyulan güven olarak aslında biraz yalınlaştırdım. Burada kamu sivil toplum kuruluşu işbirliğini modellediğimiz çalışmalarımız var. Örnek olarak kamuda iyi yönetişim sertifika programımızı verebilirim. Bu sertifika programımızda şöyle bir yöntem izledik. Müfredat hazırdı, program hazırdı. Burada kamudaki sivil toplum kuruluşlarıyla işbirliği yaptık. Dedik ki böyle bir program var ve bunu sizin görüşlerinizle son haline getirmek istiyoruz. Çalıştay yaptık. Onların ihtiyaçlarına cevap verecek bir yapıya getirdik. Akabinde ise kamu kuruluşlarına dedik ki bize yerinizi açın. Çünkü bizim temel amacımız aslında kaliteli içerik oluşturalım ve bunu en güzel şekilde topluma yayalım ve bunları eğitim programlarıyla da buluşturalım. Ama kamu kurumlarının da yeri var ve dedik ki bize yerinizi verin, yemek siz karşılayın, biz de size kaliteli eğitmenler getirelim ve kaliteli içeriği sizinle buluşturalım. Güzel bir işbirliği modelini deneyimledik. 4 modülde tamamladık. 4 farklı kamu kuruluşunda Dışişleri Bakanlığı, Enerji Piyasa Denetleme Kurulu gibi, Gençlik ve Spor Bakanlığı gibi farklı bakanlıklarda yaptık. Bunu nasıl başardık diye sorarsanız aslında iyi yönetişim prensiplerini ilişkimizde yansıtarak yaptık. Yani tutarlı ilişkiler kurduk. Bir gün onu söylerken başka bir gün başka bir şey söylemedik. Süreçlerimizde şeffaftık. Yaptığımız işlemlerle ilgili onlara hesap verebildik. Yaptığımız programın etkili olacağına onlara inandık. Etkili bir yönetim biçimi benimsedik orada. Sorumluluklarımızı bildik. Biz bu eğitimi onlara götürerek belli bir sorumluluğu da üstleniyorduk. Dolayısıyla sorumluluklarımızı da yerine getirdik. Adil davrandık. Seçim sürecinde de, sürecin işleyişinde de adil davrandık. Dolayısıyla bu prensipleri aslında bu iyi yönetişim ilkelerini benimsediğimiz zaman ikili ilişkilerde, kurumsal ilişkilerde de güveni tetikliyoruz.
Diyoruz. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Yes, for me it's a very big surprise, of course, because only 2 persons represent Russia, because this conference situated in Turkey, and Turkey and Russia have in the government relations several joint projects, and I think we need more contacts in the level of the society organizations, because it's help to understanding, because the civil society organizations, it's so-called soft power, and they influence on the government. And when we have more understanding on the civil society level, we will have more understanding on the government level. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andrei. It is really very difficult for the universities as well. We have, Andrei, I'm talking to you. It is difficult for the universities in Turkey. We have really some difficulties to reach the Russian universities, to make some kind of collaborations. Sometimes we are desiring to invite our colleagues from the Russia, so it is not easy for us. Maybe something need to change in this situation. Really. Thank you. Yes, sir. Diana.
Yes, thank you for the remarks and the question, sir. Yes, you're right. Africa is rich. That's a fact. You're right as well that we have many resources in Africa. That's true as well. But it's not true that Africans are lazy, because this is one of the preconceived ideas that, you know, we have here in Europe. We have that idea. But believe me, in Africa, you have women who walk like 5 to 10 kilometers to look for water for their children. They walk 5 to 10 kilometers to go to the next well because they don't have water at home. They have to do that. You also have children who need to go to school. They have no cars. They have no buses. They have no public transport. They walk. They very far to go to school, you know. And of course, this is not known here. People don't know it here. People know from Africa what they see on TV, what they see in the media, and so on and so forth, which is a cliche, a stereotype, you know. But we have to fight against that. I mean, you have some lazy people in every community. I mean, in every community, you have some lazy people. That is true. In Africa, we have some lazy people. Yes, we do. But we do also have lazy people in France, in Switzerland. I've been living in Switzerland for more than 25 years, and we have some lazy people. People who don't want to work, in Switzerland even, you know. But this is not the majority. It's some minorities. And regarding to the question, you asked about why the African countries cannot get the best from their resources. This is a key question, of course. We mentioned before good governance. Good governance is a problem in Africa, of course. I mean, how people, you know, how the African leaders, you know, govern is sometimes a little bit, you know, we can also criticize, I mean, how the governance, lead some countries in Africa. This is one of the reasons why the African resources are not used adequately. And also there is another reason which is some external interferences from some Western countries. They still have their hands in Africa. They pretend to leave Africa, but in fact they still have some influence in Africa for some interest, I don't know. But these two reasons, if you combine them, it can explain why the African continent has problems to develop, But there are many other reasons, of course. But, we don't have time to develop all the reasons. But basically, these two reasons seem to me, the most evident ones.
Okay. Do you want to continue? Okay, thank you. Başka sorular var mı arkadaşlar? Evet. Bu eğer panelistlerimiz için plaketlerini ve ödüllerini arkadaşlarımız var mı? Teknik ekip burada mı acaba arkadaşlar? Teknik ekip. Teknik ekip. Kimse var mı acaba? Burada panelistlere şey için onlar bir... Okay. Bir tane daha.
We remember what Prophet saying, an-nadhafatu minal iman, aw kama qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sanitation, hygiene behavior is part of our deeds. It's part of our iman. So, let's check our statistic. Diare infect 2 million people annually because their water is polluted and low hygiene. This happened in Africa and Southeast Asia because of limited access of water and sanitation. So, behavior of the people when defecate is a part of this causes, is a part of this problem. Let's check another statistic. There is some tropical disease that, like filariasis, like frambusia, and so on, that inflicted 500,000 deaths annually, according to a survey. And it's almost of countries endemic. Again, this is related to poor people who live without access of water and sanitation in standard terms. So let's come back to focus on Indonesia. There is about 34–35% Indonesian are not enjoying the safe drinking waters. That's research in 4 years ago and published 2 years ago. So Indonesia is archipelago. Sea, water with several islands, but we have problem in safe drinking water. That's nearly the same percentage have proper sanitation. this is the last year's data. It's about 20% of population. This is our focus. Still practicing open defecation around riverbank, field, forest, yards, etc. So it looked like in London when Industrial Revolution started, the labor who live in slums area throwing their faces through their window to the public roads. I think it's happened today in some area in India and several areas. But in Indonesia,
they receive the funding from the central government based on the number of people who declare themselves as members of this ethnic community. We had we had actually two new national minorities registered recently. One of them is Russian minority, because there are quite a few people who got married to Serbian citizens and they moved. And to be honest, I don't know which is the second one, because it happened just before we came here. All these, yes, and I forgot to mention Montenegrin minority, because Montenegro was the last one to, separate. So basically, the least capacity is with these new minorities. Although I have to say that the Bosniak minority and the Croatian minority, they are very well organized, and they can fight really very well for their rights, and they frequently challenge some decisions by the government, and so it's really great that they were able to establish and build that capacity in a very short period of time. The thing is that these bigger ethnic minority groups, they feel that they're self-sufficient, and they do have capacity, they do have enough money, and they don't really think that it is in their interest that much to interact with smaller communities and help them build their capacity. So this is exactly what we are trying to push them for, because we think that if you have, for instance, Bosniak ethnic community, national community, Croatian, Hungarian, if they approach the government all together, then they cannot say, well, you're pushing for your individual agenda. They are pushing for their common agenda. That is why it is important that they have at least closely built capacity. I don't know whether I answered your question, but we have really, really many national minorities, and Vojvodina, which is the northern part of Serbia, is really, I think that over 70% of the population there belongs to the national minority communities.
You said you have also active in Kosovo.
Yes. Thank you for that question. Yes, I will try to be very short. We were very active. We are not active at this particular moment, but right after the conflict, when the tensions were still very high, where the level of distrust was enormous, the gap between the communities was such where that people every now and then you would have a rumor that the remaining Serbian minority would simply pack up and leave overnight. So what we did was we couldn't deal with the security issue. You remember the 4 pillars that I mentioned in my presentation. We couldn't deal with the security issue because you had at that time, and I think even today, but in smaller numbers, KFOR, NATO forces that provided security, and nowadays you also have Kosovo police police service that is fully capable of dealing, yes, with all the issues. But what we did did was we tried to help them with freedom of movement. We created a project that actually gave an opportunity to the Kosovo institutions to provide public transportation to the enclaves and from the enclaves to Pristina. And the important thing was that, you know, these buses were not stoned or anything like that because they were provided by the institutions in Pristina. So that is one important aspect. But then we particularly focused on the accurate information that they would have, that so that, you know, no one would manipulate them by placing some rumors that, you know, you have this family attacked here, that family attacked here, or, you know, that there is something really bad, you know, brewing, and that, you know, there might be some major violence there. So that was one aspect. And we were also very active in terms of economic sustainability of the minority communities living there. We helped them with income generating projects, so that, you know, they could see their future there. So it's and basically that's the model. You know, we didn't reinvent the wheel. That's the model that you should actually apply in all post-conflict areas. Thank you.
Very briefly, some of these minorities, they also have neighboring countries of origin for some of them. Are some of these countries of origin also involved in supporting the minorities in Serbia? And do you have any direct contact with those governments and any influence on their actions?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, there are some countries that are very active in supporting their minorities in Serbia. I mentioned Hungary. Hungary is really very active, and not only have they been active, but they also, you know, provided the opportunity as well as some other EU countries to all the people belonging to their minority to have their passports and, you know, access to EU labor market, which actually backfired because many people left. So Hungary is the most proactive. Croatia is very active. Also Romania and Bulgaria. The other countries, such as Greece and Greek minority, there is a very small number of them in Serbia, and they don't provide any assistance. But these countries that I mentioned, you know, Hungary, Croatia, Romania and Bulgaria have been most proactive, and we do have contact with them, and they're very supportive of this initiative because they recognize the importance it has for, you know, the future future minority policy and you know, interethnic relations in Serbia. I just briefly, but we do have couple of national minority groups that do not have their motherland. And these are Bunjevci, which is one ethnic group that was originally from between, you know, in the border area between Serbia and Croatia. They don't really have a country that they can rely on. And we also have this ethnic group between Romania and Bulgaria, on that, in the eastern part of Serbia. They don't belong to the Romanian national minority, they don't belong to the Bulgarian national minority. They are Vlachs, and they speak, well, you would say that it is a dialect of a Serbian language, but they have very, very, you know, specific traditions and customs of their own. So, and they are in the most difficult position because they don't really have an address to go to if they need some kind of support, whether it is a political support or financial support.
Okay. Başka sorumuz var mı? Any question?
I actually have two questions. One for our speakers from Zambia, and one for my colleague Niall Aitken as well. No, you couldn't get away without a question, surely. So in relation to Zambia and the work that's being done to build capacity for NGOs and community service organisations, to what degree is the government reliant upon civil society, NGOs, CSOs, to perform some of the functions of government that they otherwise cannot perform due to lack of resources or capability?
Just to answer that question, CSOs and NGOs in Zambia operate sometimes individually, but they're also umbrella CSO and NGO bodies, and government interacts with them both at individual and with these umbrella bodies. And in terms of capacity building, the government through the Department of NGO, which is the major body that facilitates for NGO registration, regulation, and the like, also works with these CSOs to recognize their needs and also finds out what they need. And the CSOs also recognizes the need that the department needs for capacity building for the focal point persons and also for the NGOs themselves, and they work together and they also source for funding and look for technical support. And for example, GIZ, which is the German international organization, funds some of these capacity building programs. So they work hand in hand, and they also recognize the needs at different levels as well. I don't know if she has anything else to ask add.
Yeah, I think Shlesha has mentioned a lot of what we normally do. In other aspects also, apart from the assistance that these NGOs get from CPs, cooperating partners, international bilateral, we also, government also gives grants and loans depending on the nature of the work that they do and where they are based as well. And especially the issue of also when there are issues that happen, sometimes you find that in some aspects, government may be a bit slow, you know, because there's always red tape with us. We follow certain systems. NGOs tend to respond a bit faster. So sometimes you find that some of the help from government is channeled into the NGOs to try and respond. So we do that multi-sectoral approach. Thank you.
And my second question to my colleague, Niall Aiken. Niall, you talked a lot about the role that the peak body, the Islamic Council of Victoria, performs. To what degree is there interaction and cooperation, collaboration between different faith-based peak bodies and between different community groups within Victoria? To what degree is that a harmonious relationship?
Interfaith is a very key component of social cohesion, and I think that in Victoria we have very good relations between all faiths, in particular the three monotheistic faiths, Jews, Muslims and Christians. There are associations and organizations by the three peak bodies which comes together called the JCMA. Outside of that, there is about a dozen different faith groupings, activities, advisory bodies. So in the state of Victoria, it's big, and the government encourages it because the government realizes that in order to get the cooperation of various communities, they need to look beyond their ethnic identity, and there is a greater identity, which is their religious faith. So therefore the government supports a lot of religious activities. Now although some believe or think that Australia is a secular society, is actually not a secular society, it's actually a pluralist society. And that pluralism actually makes a big difference to communities being able to express their religious identities and find commonalities for peaceful coexistence. So it's big and it's fundamental.
Okay.
Does that answer?
Evet, başka sorumuz var mı? Herhalde yok. Bir seremonimiz var katılan değerli arkadaşlarımıza. Yardımcı olabilirsin. Birer tane. Bunu veriyoruz yine şimdi.
Çantayı ve plaketi veriyoruz.
Tamam. Ilyana Jovic.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Thank you for participation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you.
Sırayla gidelim. Nail'in. Tamam, tamam. Ben aldım.
Okay, let me just go.
Bir hediyemiz daha var. Çantayı çıkarken verelim.
Çantayı göster.
Sağ olun. Çanga.
Heirloom seeds sown to produce healthy seedlings ready for planting out in the garden beds. Companion planted seedlings, interspersed with protective herbs and flowers, planted in accordance with lunar and seasonal schedules. Mulching the garden protects the soil, helps conserve water, and inhibits the growth of weeds. Herbs are planted as protective barriers, interplanted amongst vegetables, mixed for insecticide sprays, and have numerous medicinal and culinary uses. Vegetables are sprayed with homemade insecticides and soil activators, including weed teas, compost liquids, and earthworm juice. Indigenous grasses, shrubs, and trees were planted to invite birds and insects to return. Harvesting fruits and vegetables takes place seasonally and in line with lunar schedules when the crops are mature and ready for picking. Fresh vegetables are picked straight from the garden and distributed to needy beneficiaries. Cleaning, processing and packaging of fruit and vegetables is an important process carried out in the on-site packaging department. Humanitarian food hampers and vegetable parcels are critical in the feeding of orphans, widows, pensioners and other needy groups. Combo supply packs, relief food parcels and humanitarian vegetable hampers are loaded onto trucks for delivery to those who need it most. An on-site shop makes fresh fruit, vegetables and other goods available and plays a role between our Limdad Foundation and the public. Pruning of the young trees and bushes is critical in the early years of growth to help the shaping of dwarf trees and espalier. A clean and tidy garden is an efficient garden. Recycled residue is deposited into the compost heap and weeds are made up into a protective tea. Chickens are one of our best friends in the garden, helping to control unwanted insects, turning up the soil, and all the while providing us with nutrient-rich night soil and a lot of eggs.
My name is Nogubonga Mbogazi. I'm working at the Green Grocer as a teller, and I've worked at the community garden for 4 years, and I've also received the full bursary to study as a teacher.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Hi, my name is Mzebo Abu Bakar Zoom. I've started working here in Alimdad since last year, and Alimdad has helped me in a number of ways. If I may count, they have assisted me with the license and helped me to develop a number of skills and give me a chance to gain an experience in engineering, which I've studied in Ladysmith. To who has ever sponsored Alimdad, I wish to say thank you. He didn't sponsor Alimdad alone, but he has helped us all. Jazakallah.
Hi, my name is Sanjira Thope. I have worked with Alimdad for 4 years, and it also helped me to be an organic garden, and now I know how to plant everything organic, and it has been giving me this wonderful garden that you can see here, and I also have a license now, and it also gives me a bursar. Shout out to Alimdad.
The Limdad Foundation Pilot Project Organic Community Garden, from seed to empowerment.
Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm not going to be very, very long. Some of you may have heard about South Africa. Some of you may have visited South Africa. The South Africa that we were born in and the South Africa that we live in today has different dynamics. My topic that I would like to discuss is building bridges through charitable work in multicultural societies. When we were in school, there was an anecdote that we were often told. A person riding in his Rolls Royce goes down a street, and typical South Africa, somebody throws a rock at his windscreen. Windscreen not shattered as much as his heart was shattered. But he decides to get off his car and he goes to the side of the road and he finds a young South African boy had fallen off his wheelchair. The person was physically challenged. He could not move. There was no one to put him back onto his wheelchair, and that was his way of asking for help. Today, whatever you hear about South Africa, whatever you see about South Africa, whatever you know about South Africa, there is one fact you need to add on, that somebody in South Africa is asking for help. When we speak about South Africa being a multicultural society, it is perhaps one of the few countries in the world in which we have a multicultural society and at the same time a society by and large that is in need, a society in which we find the very few that are wealthy, a society that was not only marred by colonialism. We had got our independence in 1960, but from 1960 to 1994, South Africa had lived through the apartheid regime. The damage that the apartheid regime had caused to our country, the imbalances that the country had gone through, required some form of intervention. Not intervention from international organizations, but intervention from us South Africans ourselves. And hence, the Al Imdad Foundation was founded in 2003. In its very initial stages, the foundation was grappling with two issues: the condition of the global community that was in dire need, and at the same time, our own community in South Africa. And hence, part of our policy is to work within our country and then, obviously, to reach out to the world. A mammoth task, but something that we have come to terms with and something that we enjoy doing on a daily basis. Friends, those of you that have visited South Africa, you would find what we call an affluent northern suburb with, and then when you turn your eye, you would find somebody living. We find somebody living in a small little home that is about 3 meters. Communal toilets and ablution centers had to be put up for these people. What are we doing as an organization? the very first thing, as you have seen, is the Al Imdad Foundation had begun a rapid empowerment program. I've been asked to complete and conclude, so I'll just go through very, very quickly the kind of programs we are having. We know that South Africa was amongst those countries of the world that was hard hit by the AIDS pandemic, and many of our young children had become orphans. So we run orphanage programs, we run educational programs, and together with that, South Africans have to deal with different challenges. There are those that have to deal with a broken down healthcare system. And we would find the very old, 80, 85-year-old mothers and fathers coming from distant areas to hospitals in the city centers. And they would leave at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And by the time they have completed their medical treatment, it will already be 12 noon. The foundation goes out. Volunteers from the nearby homes would go out and give these citizens of ours a slice of bread. Our schools, if you notice, our children would travel 5 to 6 kilometers a day without shoes to come to schools. They haven't eaten, and when they are in their schools, they do not have anything to eat.
Well, can we wrap it up? Buses are waiting outside for us.
And we give them a very, very healthy breakfast. So the foundation is trying in every way to build these bridges, to create a cohesion between those that have in South Africa and those that do not have. And in conclusion, I would like to thank the organizers of this summit for putting something like this together, and may this not be the last of it, but we continue and share our ideas. May God bless one and all. Thank you.
Ahmet Çohan Beyefendi'ye çok teşekkür ediyoruz konuşmaları için. Özellikle Güney Afrika gibi çok kültürlü bir toplumda ne sorunlar yaşadıklarından bahsetti. Özellikle sağlık sorunlarından ve genel olarak toplumdaki ırkçılıktan, yine toplumu güçlendirme açısından çeşitli çalışmaları mevcutmuş. Bu konulara değindi. Bunlardan daha fazla bahsetmek isterdik ama sanırım gala yemeği için dışarıda otobüsler bekliyor bizi. Sizleri bayağı bir yormuşuz çünkü. Organizasyon komitesi de artık sanırım mükafatlandırmak için sizleri ve bizleri yemeği götürecek diye umuyoruz.
Sayın Moderatör ve Sayın Panelistlere ben ayrı ayrı çok teşekkür ediyorum. Gala yemeğimizin olmasından dolayı otobüslerde diğer panelistler bizleri bekliyorlar. Affınıza sığınaraktan plaketlerinizi şimdi sizlere takdim etmek istiyoruz. Moderatörümüz Mahmut Aytekin Bey'den rica ediyoruz. İlk olarak İngiltere'den Osman Mokber'e plaketini takdim edeceğiz ve de ufak bir hediyemiz olacak. Mahmut Aytekin Bey'den bir kere daha istirham edelim. Diğer panelistlerimiz de Somali'den Omanjama Adam. Evet. Mahmut Bey'in hemen Osman Bey'in akabinde Ömer Bey'e takdim edeceğiz diğer plaketimizi. Evet. Omanjama Adam Somali'den gelmişti. Zamzam. Osman Bey ise Human Appeal STK'sından. Ve bir diğer plaketimiz de Mahmut Aytekin Endonezya'dan Suryama Sastra'ya takdim ediyorlar an itibariyle Human Initiative. Ve Güney Afrika'dan az önce panelini bitirdi. Panelistimiz Ahmet Çohan Bey'e İmdat Vakfı'ndan gelmişti. Kendisi takdim edilecek. Evet. Ve Mahmut Aytekin Bey bugün aramızda olamayan Doktor Ahmet Emindağ adına burada oldu. İnsamer'den katıldı ve evet İnsani Yardım Vakfı'nın desteğiyle gerçekleşmişti. Efendim ben de size takdim ediyorum. Lütfen kabul buyurunuz. Çok teşekkür ederim değerli katkılarınızdan dolayı. Thank you very much, sir. Yes. Thank you. Evet. Türkiye Cumhurbaşkanlığı himayelerinde Uluslararası Şehir ve Sivil Toplum Kuruluşları Zirvesi yarın da devam edecek. Şimdi gala yemeği içerisinde sizleri araçların başına davet ediyoruz katılımlarınızdan dolayı. Evet, çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Esenler Belediyesi'ne teşekkür ediyoruz. Yıldız Teknik Üniversitesi'ne teşekkür ediyoruz. Evet, yarın görüşmek üzere. Hepinize iyi akşamlar. Hayırlı bir gün olur inşallah. Yarın tekrar birlikte olacağız.